Hello, lover girls. Coming to you very late in the day for our monthly matcha. So I'm actually not drinking matcha right now. I made myself a little late night poppy concoction because the sun is fully going down right now. So as it goes this time of year, it's very possible that this video could be very moody by the end, which is not a bad thing. Listen, I've been known to be a little moody. So I am matcha-less for this monthly matcha, but this cherry limeade poppy is hitting right now. I'm currently in the process of packing up my stuff for the week so I can head out to California for Thanksgiving this year because my sister is in a show. She's performing and she's in a holiday contract. So she is performing on the holidays and therefore could not come home for the holidays. So the holidays are coming to her. And I just had a gorgeous little weekend watching a ton of movies. I did go and see Wicked for Good. I did cry my little eyes out during For Good. I don't think I've ever listened to For Good without crying, but I think particularly right now in this era of my life, there was just no possible way that I was going to be able to hear the lines. It well may be that we will never meet again in this lifetime. So let me say before we part, so much of me is made of what I've learned from you. You'll be with me like a handprint on my heart. And now, whatever way our stories end, I know you have rewritten mine by being my friend. I have chills saying those words out loud right now. I knew going into it that I was just going to be a wreck, and I was. So imagine me going to Wicked for Good in a packed theater by myself on opening night, just sobbing in one of the back rows and holding my mango necklace as tight as I possibly could. I do feel the icy bitch in me is starting to come out. I'm getting a little bit more excited about styling my clothes for the winter. And as a result, I've been switching up my jewelry stack a lot, which actually, speaking of, I have some new pieces that I really want to show you guys before we get into the real juice here, because I have much to discuss in November's monthly matcha. I've been so excited about these pieces. And you guys know me, I usually wear the same jewelry every single day. I don't really experiment that much with jewelry, but I've been switching it up lately. I don't know. I've turned over a new leaf. All of the pieces I'm about to show you are from Ana Luisa, the sponsor of today's video, and they are just gorgeous. First up, this very classic, gorgeous little necklace. It's called the Pebble on their site. I'm a mixed metal girl. I've definitely leaned more gold in the past, but lately I've been wearing a lot more silver. Pairs perfectly with the earrings I'm about to show you. These are the Ash double hoop earrings, and I love these. The top hoop is a little simpler. Bottom hoop's got a little bit of texture. I think they are so cute. Works very well as the first earring in my stack. I got the all silver pair, but they actually also have a mixed metal pair, which I have been thinking about, like, oh, should I have gotten the mixed metal pair, since I do love mixed metal, but I'm in this silver era. And then in my second hole, I'm actually also wearing another pair of earrings from Ana Luisa that I got a couple months ago. These are the Asher Drop Huggy earrings, and these are mixed metal. And really, jewelry's always a go-to gift, but I think it's made that much more thoughtful when you're gifting pieces that pair really well together. It's more than just, oh, I went online and I found this cute piece of jewelry that I bought you. It's like, I curated you a little mini collection of beautiful things and trinkets, bits and bobs that I would like to show you. There's something very romantic about it. Hi, I got you a necklace and a pair of earrings that matched to each other perfectly. They reminded me of you. Like, I'm in love, I think. I think I'm in love, actually. So if you're looking for a good gift to get your partner, your mom, your sister, your bestie, yourself, I really think that an Ana Luisa stack could be the remedy here, could be the solution. So if you want to check them out, you can scan the QR code on screen or click the link in the description down below to grab your very own Ana Luisa favorites and complete your stack with pieces starting at $39. Like, this is just so satisfying to me. It just works. I don't know if I only mentioned this on the podcast and not on my YouTube channel, but I have been on lexapro for 2.5 months now. This has been my first time on an SSRI, my first time taking any kind of medication for my mental health. So this has very much been a discovery process for me. I really didn't know how I was going to feel or what me being on lexapro was going to bring up for me. I know I'm not the only one who grew up feeling like the people that were older than me, the generations that came before me in my family, were just not as open about mental health stuff as people in my generation are. There was really no one that I had to look to as a model for how to take care of my mental health or what exploring medication could look like for me. Especially when I was a teenager, I always felt like there was a lot of fear mongering when it came to mental health treatment, specifically taking medication for mental health reasons. I remember expressing curiosity about being medicated for my anxiety when I was younger and being met with, oh, that stuff just makes you completely numb to all of your emotions. It would dull your personality. Like, it would make you a shell of yourself, basically. And I remember feeling really scared of that possibility as a teenager and being like, oh God, okay, maybe I don't want to try that then. I don't know. And it really wasn't until I got older and friends of mine modeled what positive experiences going on medication could be like that I started to feel curious about it again, talking to my inner circle about things like this and being like, all right, I think whatever story I was told as a teenager, this like scary, it's going to drain you of your life force type messaging around mental health medication that I was sold as a teenager, like, it's just not accurate. It's not a complete picture of what these kinds of medications can do for you if you need them. And as I'm sure is pretty obvious, grief was the thing that motivated me to reach out to a psychiatrist and explore medication for the first time. It had been something that I was thinking about for a while. I actually talked about this on my Patreon over the summer because it was something that I was discussing with my therapist. But after losing Mango, it became something I was thinking about to something that was like an aggressive top priority. This needs to happen right now. And let me just say, it has been a hugely positive experience for me. Obviously, I cannot speak for everyone's experience, but I wanted to throw in my positive experience to the ring. If you are someone like me who's struggling with anxiety and is wondering if medication could be helpful for you, but is just unsure or maybe worried about what the experience might look like. For me, the lexapro has just made it so that I have a better baseline. It's also allowed me to enjoy the things that I love more. I think a lot of times my anxiety would make it more difficult to enjoy the things that I love, just fixating and spiraling on things that ultimately don't matter, but that I had a hard time letting go of because of my anxiety. And I don't feel that there's been any numbing of my emotional spectrum at all. I still feel everything. I still cry quite often. That's okay. Was not trying to stop that. I actually want to feel everything. I want to feel the full spectrum and range of my emotions. That makes me feel like me. Being on Lexapro, I feel like I've been able to feel the full spectrum of my emotions, cry when I need to cry, be completely present in the processing of my grief without letting it eclipse me entirely and making me feel like I don't see the good in life at all. I feel like I've been able to sit with my big emotions and process them without it spiraling into something bigger. I'm able to feel the bad, make room for the bad without feeling like the bad has wiped out the good. I just feel like Lexapro has cleared up seats at the table, basically, so that all of my emotions can sit there together rather than me getting super sad and anxious and just like knocking out every positive emotion that is also sitting at the table and just feeling like everything is over and I'll never be happy again. I just really can't emphasize enough what a positive experience it's been for me. Also, I'll say this. I know a lot of people talk about how reaching orgasm is harder when you're on an SSRI. I personally haven't found that to be a problem. So just know there are a range of experiences out there and you could very well have an incredibly positive experience on something like Lexapro. These medications obviously impact every person differently, but I do feel like it's helpful to share when something is working and something is good, because there's a lot of fear mongering out there when it comes to mental health medication. And these medications can be so helpful to the right people. So you never know. I'm really glad that I started Lexapro. It has definitely been a major relief to me. I'm usually a pretty positive person. So I think in navigating my grief, there have been many moments where I've felt pretty outside of myself because it's a little harder to access the positive glass half full side of myself these days. I want to be honest with myself and with the people around me. So when someone asks me how I'm doing or how I'm hanging in there, I'm gonna be honest with them. And sometimes I've even felt like sad or embarrassed that I've been honest about the fact that I'm having a hard time, because I'm not usually like this. I'm usually much happier than how I'm showing up right now. But then it's like I'm viewing grief as something that's just passing by, just stopping on in, rather than a part of who I am now, a part of me. And I think I'm still learning where I fit into that puzzle, where the positive, romantic, look on the bright side of life version of me fits into my grief. So I felt a little confused about myself these days, because so much of me is inherently different now, or that's how it feels. And that can feel really weird and foreign. It's actually a very difficult thing to explain if you haven't felt it. But if you have felt it, then I don't even need to say any additional words. I know that you know the feeling that I'm describing right now, but it's hard to feel outside of yourself in that way, where I can't even totally access the version of me that existed before Mango passed. And I know that version of me isn't gone. I just can't figure out where that version of me can fit with my grief now in the picture as well. I don't know. We'll get there, I guess. It's a process. And I do feel like the lexapro helps with that in a way, in allowing all of my emotions to pull up seats at the table. It's like it's helping me accept that I am a deeply complicated and complex woman that feels everything, that I'm allowed to be everything all at once, and that it was never a contradiction, but rather just an indication of a life fully lived. But it's hard. I'm reminded of Mango literally all the time. And thank God, I'm so happy that I am. I had a very silly moment at a party that I was at recently, because, I love believing that she is here still somewhere, and she's able to give me little signs and look out for me in little ways. I do find comfort in believing that, and this was kind of a very silly and unserious way that I felt like I got a sign. But when you've been out in a big group of people for an extended period of time and your social battery is definitely starting to decrease, and you have this moment of quiet where you sort of retreat back into yourself and disconnect from the conversation. And I disconnected for a minute, and I was in my own head, and I was thinking of Mango, and I don't know. I had this moment where I'm looking around at all these other people that are laughing and having a good time. And a lot of the time I feel like I'm putting on a good time mask. It's not that I'm not having a good time. It's just that I barely have the capacity to have a good time. So it's like I'm putting on this mask of pretending that this is a vibe that I can bring into all corners of my life, and not the exception to the rule. You know what I mean? I'm going out and having a great time, and this is the exception to a life that is otherwise a little bit more solemn right now. And you have these moments of distraction, and then you have the jolt back to reality when you remember how things are. And I was in a situation like that, and as I'm thinking about all of this, I look down at the table and I realize everyone has been drinking Mango White Claws. And I hadn't noticed before that moment, because I was drinking wine. I wasn't even looking at what everyone else was drinking. I looked down when I'm having this moment of oh God, everyone's drinking Mango White Claws. And I was like, that's so silly. Everyone's drinking Mango White Claws. Here we are. And it's silly and it's unserious, but it was something that brought me comfort in that moment. Being she's literally everywhere. She's here right now. She catered this whole fucking party. But it's been nice to find these little pockets of peace for myself, these moments of trusting and looking for her and believing that our love transcends our physical bodies, and in many ways, in hundreds of ways even, she and I are still very much connected to each other. But outside of my own personal grief, it's also just a really weird time to have a body and be a person online. We are knee deep in the Ozempic era, babe. My God, everyone's on it. And to be in this era when we all have this constantly connected comparison device in our hands at any given moment, it is just such a recipe for disaster. To be constantly subconsciously consuming content from people that you don't know who are funneling tens of thousands of dollars into their appearance every day for you to then compare yourself to and be like, am I supposed to look like that? Because everybody's starting to look like this. And am I supposed to look like that? I miss the era when everyone was discovering body positivity for the first time and it was like all the rage. We were hashtag body posing our way to true algorithmic freedom. Like, I just really miss the like OG body positivity days because it was like revolutionary to me at the time, at that age. Like, it rocked my goddamn world as a teenager. And there have been other like body positivity surges throughout the years. I feel like 2020 was another one. Everyone was at home. We had like no choice but to be more gentle and compassionate with ourselves because we were like locked in one room with ourselves 24/7. I felt like there have just been several other moments in the history of my time online and even in not that far away history where having a body felt a little bit easier than it does right now. But it's really weird experiencing another like thin is in surge. But this time I have a good relationship with my body and I feel pretty stable in my own body image. I feel like every other major like thin is in surge that's happened in my lifetime, I've not felt this way. And it's weird because I almost feel like I'm in a more observational place this time. It's like I feel like my feet are planted, but I am just continuously horrified at what I'm witnessing online, the ways people are talking about body image and thinness and the pursuit of beauty in general, things that would have absolutely destroyed my self-confidence if I was just a little bit younger. It's like, it's scary to witness. And people always do this, but I've also noticed a real surge of people equating morality and health, which I think is so dangerous and always bad. People that will get online and speak to people they perceive to be unhealthy as if they are a bad person for being unhealthy. That being unhealthy, their perception of this person who is unhealthy is some indication of a moral failing of theirs, and that's why they're unhealthy, which is really quite strange, but you see this over and over again. Any fat person online can tell you what their comment sections have looked like. This has been rampant in mine. Number one, you can't tell people's health by looking at them, but that's honestly neither here nor there because I don't care if someone is healthy or unhealthy. You are deserving of respect regardless, and your health is not a qualifier for how I will treat you or speak to you. It's absurd to me that it ever would be. And again, you see it all the time in how people speak to fat people, how they project these like sweeping generalizations and assumptions based on physical appearance and internalized fat phobia. And you also see it in how people talk about eating disorders, which I think has been really interesting and also a little bit troubling. I've been really fascinated by the conversation about these major celebrities that have lost a lot of weight, that are like the faces of this new thin is in era and like the media circus that follows them. I've been fascinated at like the analysis of that and its impact on ED culture at large. And I think there's a lot that could be said there about like the impact and the glorification of these types of things. Listen, I remember what it was like to be on Tumblr in 2012. I remember seeing pro Anna blogs all over my fucking feed. Like I remember what it felt like to consume media that felt like it was priming me to believe that it was important to make myself smaller at any cost. I understand the panic in seeing thin is in messaging everywhere. I understand the panic of seeing all of your favorite celebrities disappear before your eyes. And I do believe there's value in having compassionate conversations about like what it means to promote this kind of culture and what we can do to stop it and try to shift the conversation around body image into something that is more inclusive. And I think that sometimes within the conversation of eating disorders, you start to see this equation of health and morality happen here as well, where people get so fired up and so angry that they're talking about these shrinking celebrities like they are bad, evil people for doing this in the public eye, which again, I think there's an interesting conversation to be had there. And also, I think that some people are forgetting that eating disorders are mental illnesses. And just because someone is a celebrity doesn't mean they are immune from having a mental illness. And yes, we can talk about the impact of having that performed for us as consumers, but I really don't love the idea of looking at people that are potentially struggling with eating disorders and speaking to them like they are bad, irredeemable, evil people, and an eating disorder is something that they could just turn off and stop having. Again, this is a much more nuanced and complicated conversation, but it's interesting to me how you see the equation of health and morality come up in so many different social contexts. And it's overwhelming for me no matter what, to be honest with you. And transparently, even though I feel like I'm in a pretty good space with my body right now, I'm not immune to this shit either. It impacts me seeing the culture shift towards thinness in such an aggressive way. But to me, it's more of it's a bigger, more high-level cultural issue, not something that I'm willing to look at a few select people, make them the poster child of it, and point fingers and blame them. I think it's so much bigger than that. And like ultimately, I feel for even the people that are the faces of this new thin is in era. You know? It's like looking at the people who are probably also victims of this thing, but speaking to them like they are responsible for it because they're celebrities, which is not completely untrue because these are people that like push and move culture and influence it in a major way. Absolutely. But there just needs to be a more compassionate way to talk about this, no? Surely there's a more compassionate way to discuss these things, but maybe compassion just doesn't have a place on TikTok, you know? Maybe that's just not the website for compassion. See, I told you the sun would go down and we'd be ending in a much moodier place, but I'm not mad about it. Okay, I put up these neon signs for a reason. God damn it. I will enjoy them. So listen, if you also struggle with anxiety like me, you're in great company. And who knows, maybe exploring medication could be something worthwhile for you. You never know until you try it out. And I guess this monthly matcha was just a reminder that in the midst of dealing with our own deeply personal things and existing in a world that feels really scary and unkind and at times pretty sinister, it's more than reasonable to feel overwhelmed and to feel sad and to not be your most optimistic, glass half full self. It's okay, actually. It is a beautiful thing to be a deeply complicated and complex woman. God damn, look at her feeling everything she possibly can, moving through life as best as she knows how. God, how fucking sexy is she? Sometimes at the end of the day, you've just got to give yourself the flowers, okay? We just don't have to be performing for each other all the time. It's okay. It's okay that a lot of us are having a bad time and that right now is not my favorite time that I've ever been alive. Okay, there, I said it. If you want to see more of me, definitely go check out my podcast, Emotionally Online, and come and join us over on the Patreon. We've got a Discord server. I do bonus podcast episodes, extra YouTube videos, monthly live streams, and we now have a bi-monthly poetry art print snail mail club. So would you look at that? We've got so much going on over there, and I would love to see you there. I'm giving devil vibes now. Okay, I have to go. Love you guys so much. Thanks for hanging with me and having a matcha or a poppy or a Diet Coke or a coffee or whatever it is that you drank today. Because at the end of the day, my monthly matcha could mean anything. Anything. Art Pop Hive, your time is now. Mwah. Love ya.